settle. Most of y'all are gonna have to settle. Most of y'all women are going to have to settle. I'm sorry that this is news. Like, I'm standing on business when it comes to this. Like, I don't know what in y'all right minds or your wrong minds make y'all think that y'all just gonna find these perfect men that's gonna hit on all cylinders and they not gonna have flaws that's gonna come out. If you allow a man's flaws and not being perfect to stop you from getting an actual relationship and being happy with somebody, what kind of person are you? Like, what are you even on earth for? Be honest with yourself. Because every human being desires some type of genuine connection with somebody. They do. And if they told you they don't, they're lying. Like, who wants to be by themselves at the end of the day? Unless you were jaded already. And that's where, I think y'all getting things twisted. See, settling doesn't have to be looked at as a bad thing, just like the word submissive. A lot of people don't understand that the word settle is not a bad thing. Settle is just compromising. That's all it is at the end of the day. The words settle and compromise are literally synonyms. Like, I gotta take y'all back to school on this. It's not a bad thing to settle. It's realistic because not everybody's gonna hit on all cylinders. That shouldn't stop you from wanting to date, though, because there's nobody perfect out there. Like, let's be realistic about this, guys, and stop getting in our feelings.
Okay, so say if I listened to this man and took his advice and settled. I have kids. I do. I have 2 kids. So I settled and come to find out that I am going through turmoil and the relationship ends and the man moves on and goes about his day because mama's baby, daddy's maybe, right? So I have my 2 kids out there. So then now that I settled, and that relationship did not work out because I can't force someone to be there. And if it's not working, I can't force them. So say if, that is the case, or, I went ahead and settled. So this is also what's being told after you settle and now there's kids involved and your quote unquote value went down. Here's how men contradict themselves.
I'm gonna need you girls with kids to realize that you ain't got that many options. Yeah, you can't be requiring shit over here. You lucky we even here. I mean, options is low. You better get what you can get. I mean, y'all had 3 kids by 2 different baby fathers and then be requiring the most shit. Sade, you're lucky. Cause I just want y'all to think. Y'all be wanting dudes that's single, no kids, not entertaining no other female, but you got 2 baby fathers. And we supposed to pick up their responsibility and we have no kids. I just need y'all to process that. Like, we don't have to be here. Message.
So basically, men contradict themselves all the time. But here's what they're really trying to say to us. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Damned if you have kids, damned if you don't have kids. They're basically telling us there are not enough good men in this world. So you're bound to settle because it's better to settle than be alone. Men and women are not the same. Men cannot be alone. Even the Bible says it is not good for man to be alone. They did not say it's not good for a woman to be alone. They specifically said it is not good for men to be alone, which is why you're confused when you break up with a guy and he's right next to another woman and he's right under another woman. And you're like, damn, did you even have time to heal? Because women, we can be alone. Okay, we can take time for ourselves to heal. We are more complete, I would say. So men can't even fathom the thought of women actually not choosing them. I'm gonna need him to define what happiness actually is. Because peace inquires happiness. And if you are not bringing peace, sir, and you're calling them, I'm not perfect, we all have imperfections, we should settle. What does settling actually looks like? Is it putting up with cheating? Disrespect, being dismissive, lying, burdening me with the financial responsibilities, but also requiring me to be submissive and soft and feminine and take care of myself and my body, but also working a 9-to-5 every day, fighting through traffic, and still having to go 50-50 or 70-30 or whatever you guys do. Also bearing the children as well, having enough energy to sleep with you, and somehow still be sane. Women give a lot in relationships, but what do we get in return? And when we know that we give a lot, we know that our value extends your life, okay? A man Having a woman extends his life. That's why when they get older and they ain't never settled down, they be looking for an in-home nurse. Have you ever seen all those older men being with the younger women and they're basically their caretakers? So men know the value of women and what we bring. And when we try to actually put stipulations on, if I'm going to be giving my life source energy to you, this is what I also require, because you're not going to drain the life out of me and take me down and I have nothing in return if I'm going to sacrifice myself for you. This just goes to show that men cannot be alone. So they have to convince women to settle for less or say it's imperfect or we're all human and this is compromising. But what are we compromising? Because the same compromising that you guys want us to give up, you would never do for a woman. And they're basically contradicting themselves because they tell us every day that there are not enough good men out here. But when you choose that and that relationship goes sour and you're left as a single mother of 2, 3 or whatever, then it's your fault. It's always our fault, women. We should have chose better. We should have vetted better. How do you vet better when you're also telling us to settle? Which one is the lesser evil? So then say if we did settle and then we got to hear stuff like this.
I'ma need you girls with kids to realize that you ain't got that many options. Yeah, you can't be requiring shit over here. You lucky we even here. I mean, options is low. You better get what you can get. I mean, y'all had 3 kids by 2 different baby fathers and then be requiring the most shit. Sade, you're lucky. Cause I just want y'all to think. Y'all be wanting dudes that's single, no kids, not entertaining no other female. But you got 2 baby fathers. And we supposed to pick up their responsibility and we have no kids. I just need y'all to process that. Like, we don't have to be here. Message.
Sir, you're right. You don't have to be there. Sir, you're right. You don't have to be there. And I don't have to settle. I don't have to compromise. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So if you don't have kids, men are telling you to settle and compromise. If you do have kids, out of settling and compromising, they tell you you need to settle and compromise again. So what men are trying to do in today's world and internet is try to convince women to continue to settle. And if you make kids and make a mistake, then you settle even more, because every man needs a woman on this earth to survive. Imagine if all women started to recognize their self-worth. That would take cat, aka sex, off the table for many, many men, because they really don't value women today as they once did. I mean, men really never valued women, so we can just scratch that. But sex has become so accessible, and the accessibility to women, beautiful women, because of the internet and because of women's standards nowadays, they don't feel like they really have to go out their way to value a woman or reach any type of compromise, but they ask the most from us. They fearmonger us and tell us that we would rather settle and deal with lies, cheating, other women, drama, STIs, STDs, baby mama drama, side chicks, side babies, financial burdens, all to have a man laying with a pair of thighs in my bed. That's what's so important. Women already tend to outlive men. So married or not, a woman is going to outlive her husband and a quote unquote die alone anyway. When a woman gets divorced or her husband dies before her, she's less inclined to get remarried. When their wife dies, they're more inclined to get married if they have some more time on this earth. Why is it that women can live without men and live out their last days in peace without men, but men cannot do the same? Because we're built different and we're wired different. Men project their fears on women every day by saying, you're going to die alone. You might as well settle. You might as well just put up with us, because who wants to be alone? When really women are never alone. We have friends, we have family. As long as we're connected to our community, we will never be alone. I think what y'all are really mad for is those women that you told get a dog and die alone actually got a dog, and the dog's getting treated better and eating better than you. So I say no more. Don't let no man instill fear inside of you of quote unquote dying alone and you're having to settle because no child or with child, they are telling you to settle because it's not enough good men out there. So I would rather be alone before I settle. And I don't care if I have about 3,000 kids. What I won't do is lay with you and you're mad about it because it takes sex off the table. And imagine that, women actually having standards, child or without child. Oops.